Hello and welcome to another episode of LTKHLTH. Let ourselves translate expert knowledge. Today's Let's Talk Tickers on Taco Tuesdays, and it's talk fast, talk a lot, listen more day. Today we're talking about how fast I can figure out what I'm talking about. So there's this thing that happens when you end up talking really, really fast, is you end up forcing yourself to listen more. So I think people, especially ones who are wearing masks now, need to talk faster, more, maybe even louder, more clearly, so I can hear you. Because not only am I wearing a mask and I have this over my ears because none of the fucking masks or cappers cover your ears, but I have the capper going, which sounds like, where's that mic? But I'm loving it. It's fantastic. And let's relate it back to fast moving. Always comes back to A-fib RVR. I got a report from a patient, basically, because Charge got report. I had already a 2-patient assignment. One was in this like outside area of an ICU that they've morphed into an ICU, and the other is inside the old ICU. It's been an ICU always out in the west. And they switched the assignment. I got rid of my outside patient, and I have another inside admission coming, but I didn't know who it was or what it was. All I heard was A-fib RVR, which sounds exciting for those who have not been paying attention. A-fib with RVR is atrial fibrillation, where the top part of your heart quivers, and it's in a rapid ventricular rate, which means when your atria fibrillate like that, they're firing like 300 to 600 beats per minute, but not all of those conductions are getting through to the ventricles, the big juicy babies of the heart that pump it out fast. When they do, it's called rapid ventricular rate, or RVR, or the old A-fib river, as I like to call it. That sounds exciting. Then you hear it's a 7-something-year patient who's probably getting the case of the old ages. Oh, and man, it's quite startling when you begin to realize the magnitude of what's happening in this world of elderly people with dementia taking care of other elderly people with dementia. The story from the husband to the emergency department was that before this admission, in which she's just barely able to moan, she's breathing on her own, but she's not moving around. Very startling thing to see if you haven't seen it many, many times, but just a person just there, languishing, breathing. There's a blood pressure, but there's no conversation at all. There's not even a response to, who are you? What's your name? Just after a few hours, and then the husband is telling me before this admission, she's walking around, ambulatory, alert and oriented. Now, I don't know about calling bullshit on the alert and oriented part, but let's talk tickers on Taco Tuesdays here. Perfusion doesn't lie. Her feet were purple, dusky, and she had one of the worst foot drop cases I've seen in a long time. Looked like she'd been wearing heels for a ballroom dance of 13, 14, 78 years. It's rough. She wasn't walking around. And that's the fast living that's happening in a lot of these homes. Nothing's going to be done until it's an absolute emergency, which at that point, we'll do everything we can, but it's oftentimes too late. So let's talk tickers on Taco Tuesdays. A lot of our discussions to the public involve timeliness. Listen to your body. Think about what it means. Know what is happening. Don't ignore shit and sticky for 2 weeks, please. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow on What's Wasabi Walnut was hurting my tummy Wednesday, and we'll see how fast I can whip it out. The podcast.